Now today, Wednesday. Now today is Wednesday, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down a couple pairs. So the pairs that I personally focus on, and I'm going to just stick to focusing on, focusing as I continue my trading journey, and I'm doing it strategically on purpose. So what I personally do is I'll compare the DXY and gold together, right? And then what I'll compare is the DXY with EU. So these are the pairs that I actually follow, the only pairs that I follow. And the only pairs, like if you have questions or something like that, the only ones that I'll be able to answer, because any other pair, I'm not really going to understand or know how they move. I don't have a relation to them. So because I don't have a relation to them, I can't really be able to actually give you a specific answer. So the only pairs that I follow are EU, right? So Euro, USD, AU, AUDUSD, GBPJPY, USDJPY, USDCAD, right? And then my, if anything, my fun pair is Bitcoin. So I follow Bitcoin, and my rate of return on Bitcoin has actually been pretty fun. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go into the markets, and we're going to see what we have access to. This is actually going to be the first time that I'm looking at the markets this whole week. After I saw GJ and UJ just continue to go into a bullish run, even though what's pretty crazy is the fact that right here on this board, I actually had UJ going to my TP number 1, 113.1, TP number 2, 114.5, and then TP number 3, 116.1. And I actually went against what I wrote on here and did something else. So this is one thing that I would definitely urge to you. You guys are watching me, and that's cool. But what I would definitely suggest is to make your judgments purely based upon your judgments, and do your best to kind of take what I say or anybody else with a grain of salt. And that's like a cliche term. I don't even know what that means, but other people say it. So what I would definitely suggest is take what I say and be like, that's what he's saying. But really take it where, have no influence based upon what I'm saying. Have the influence only based upon what you are saying. Yeah, so only really just do your best to really learn this skill in this game, so that you can be able to actually understand how these markets work, so that you could be able to get into trades for yourself, right? Whatever it takes to really learn this game and not be dependent on anybody else is when the game is going to change for you. All right. And I say that from, I genuinely, I can feel it, the bottom of my heart. Okay. So I'm just going to get started. All right. So right now, what we're looking at is the DXY, right? Literally what I'm going to do, and this is what I was doing before I got on here, I'm literally just taking off anything that I had. And that's what I think is very, very important that everybody do. And can you guys see my screen? Just let me know if you can be able to see my screen. Go ahead and write in the chat if you can be able to see my screen. And if anything, like this video if you can be able to hear me as well. So from time to time, what I'll do is I'll literally erase everything and start from scratch. At least on the lower time frames, right? On the higher time frames, that doesn't really change, but on the lower time frames, that is something that it's probably good to switch up from time to time. So this talk is probably gonna be longer than usual, but what I would say is if you stick around, may help out, a little bit for you, because literally what you're going to realize is the fact that I'm going to be doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over. So really pay attention. If anything, take notes if you can. But just really realize that this game is simple, but it's kind of complex at the same time. So what I see here, point A, point B. And right now we're looking at the DXY. Why am I looking at the DXY? I want to see in what direction, and this is purely what it is, in what direction for a longer term is the US dollar going, right? In what direction is the US dollar going? What river, what is the flow of the river of the US dollar? Why? Because the US dollar is going to control what gold does, is going to control what EU does, is going to control what AU does, is going to control what UJ does, and it's going to control what USDCAD does, and also kind of what Bitcoin does. Now here's what's also important to know as well. Now, is it going to have a direct correlation? No. Why? Because the thing is, EU is also paired up with EJ and EN and all these other pairs. So I've kind of mentioned this from before. The way that I think about the markets is kind of like a what do you call it? A gears in motion. So some gears are have more weight, you can say, than other gears or pairs. So the smaller the weight of so the larger the weight of a currency, for example, like the US dollar and the Great British Pound, and the euro, not the Great British Pound too much, but the euro, so they are going to have a stronger push in the market than would, I don't know, the Turkish lira or the Zimbabwe, whatever they call it. Right. So they're going to have a smaller weight to the market. So as one is moving, all the others move. So if I was to tell you, okay, the US dollar is going to do this, so this one is going to do this, I can't really say that because I don't know what the other ones are doing, right? But that's why I follow the US dollar, mostly because I follow DXY. Hopefully that makes sense. All right. So what tends to happen is the fact that if price is going from, let's say this point right here to down here, we'll see price retrace to about 38.2% on this thing called the Fibonacci retracement tool. Now, what's important is if price doesn't get to that area, right, then what price will probably happen, what price will probably do will continue to follow that same trend, and that's exactly what happened. So it didn't hit the 38.2 level. We continue that downwards push, and then I could be able to put my fibs down here. And what we see is the fact that price went from point A to now this is my new point B to now this area right here, 50%. And now what we see here is the fact that price will probably go back to this area right here, right? Being the fact that, and if anything, let me see if this broke what we call structure. Point A, point B. So price got to about 38.2. Not really, but it kind of did. Let's put this over here. Price got to 61.8. So, yeah, this is probably an uptrend. Well, probably not. And this is the stuff that, is just pretty interesting. So price got from point A to point B over here, and it held this 38.2 area, but it didn't really get to it until it got here. And then price pushed up and then pushed down, right? To this area right here. So let's go down to the daily time frame. And this is one thing that is clear to me, at least right now, is point A to point B up here. And this is why I had this drawn out here. So from point A to point B, I do see price as far as the US dollar continuing to drop at least to this 38.2 level and probably even further down, but at the least to this 38.2 level. So what does that mean? That the US dollar may lose strength at least a little bit more. Now, let's say if I went to the H4 time frame, I do see some level of support being held. I do see some level of support being held right here. And with that being the case, price may break this area. And if it does break this area and close beyond this area right here in the H4 time frame, I see it continuing to this level right here. Now, that's not that much. It's not that far. But it is good to know that price may continue to push down when it comes to this, right? So that's just good to know. Now, let's go on to gold. So let's look at this daily. So peak time frame. What we do see is the fact that we do see an uptrend, but what we do see based upon this weekly time frame is the fact that this is still you see price gets to the 78.6 level, and with that being the case, price pushes up, pushes down, and I'm pretty sure this is at 38.2. So I would say that price does essentially break structure right here, calling this now probably a downtrend on this weekly time frame. Maybe we would have to see how price action moves. The way I got that is from point A here, point B here, and we see that price passes 38.2, which makes this a clear higher low. And with that being the case, this would be the next higher low. And then from there, price breaks through this area right here. Right. So that was the last higher low. Price breaks through this, obviously in a solid way. Right. So now what we're looking for is a retest of that broken area. And what's pretty interesting is I had this green box here, and this was probably based upon a different type of analysis. And it's still in that green box. So what we see here is the fact that, okay, price broke through right here, right? So price, what most likely what happens from time to time is the fact that price will get back to 38.2, right? And price sometimes will get to at least where price broke structure, and price sometimes will go back to a weekly or a monthly key level, right, in the market. And this is a very good zone right here. So if I was to go down to a lower time frame, let's say this daily time frame, what we see here is the fact that there's definitely some sort of level of support that's being held right here, right? And the fact that price is finding bullish movement right here, right, which is cool. Let's look at the H4 time frame and see what's going on. What we see here is the fact that price definitely breaks structure to the upside, right? So what we see here is price finds a lower low, a lower high, higher low, higher high. Price has broken structure. right here. Price is broken structure, finds a higher high, right? And it even goes even higher, higher low, and then it from there continues to find this level of support right here. So what I'm looking for is if price passes this area right here, if price passes this area right here, I'll look for price to and close past this, not just wicks up like how this does, like close passes it based upon this H4 time frame, or you could probably say on the 2-hour time frame. I would look for price to head up to higher time frame. I would look for price to where did this fibs go? Oh, okay. So I would look for price to head to this oh, sorry, point A, point B. I would look for price to head to this 38.2 area. All right, so that is a area of a good amount of pips, about 2,500 pips, which is crazy. So now price is going to bob up and down in between that area, right? But I don't know if you're the type to hold that, but that would be, you know, a good buy. I'll put it to you like that. And what's somewhat crazy is the fact that I was looking to actually get into this, and I didn't. So let's look at the H2 time frame just to see how it's forming. What's going on, bro? All right, so I'm just gonna move on. So hopefully you got that. So now we're on EU, right? And with EU, what we see is the fact that prices has been in this consolidation area for a long time. And as you can see, this zone here is just a pretty interesting area right here in this area. As you can see, price has really consolidated hard in this area, and you know, price tried to dip down under it, and it went back in this area, and it may consolidate in this area for a bit longer, and it did it back here as well, sort of, right? So just this whole area right here, I'm guessing price really likes it. Let's look in the past and see how that's affected as well. Yeah, nothing too major in the past, at least. 177. Go up here. This is above it. This is inside it. Yeah, so price doesn't really like react to this area that crazy. You know what I'm seeing? Probably just right now it is. All right. So we definitely see a downtrend when it comes to the higher time frames, as you can see here. And it's just price that is really consolidating heavy in this area right here. And if I was to go down to the H4 time frame, what we see here is the fact that price does find a level of resistance, which is perfect. This is exactly what we're looking for. We are looking for, you know, stuff like this in the market to really show up and show its face, saying, hey, listen, you know, like I'm having a hard time passing this area. So what that does is it gives us a level of confidence saying, okay, if you're having a hard time passing up in this area, I could just put my risk just above that area, just above those wicks, because you don't want to, get wicked out or anything like that. And being the fact that it's all the way like up here, the stop loss is kind of crazy, like 60 pips, but at the same time, you could be able to factor in your account. So let's say you have an account size of $1,000, right? What you'll do is, let's just say, okay, this is the easiest way I can be able to put this. It's not just you do for every $1,000 you have in your account, you do a 0.2 if you're doing 2%. The way that you're going to factor this out is, okay, let's just say, for every $1,000 you have in your account, and you know what? They have a calculator for this. I'm not even going to do all that. What's that calculator called? I usually just do it for myself. Risk. You know what? I think they have it on who knows what I'm talking about? Oh, here it is. So let's just say you have an account, right? And you want your risk ratio to be 2, and let's say it's a 50 pip on the Euro USD, right? So what they're saying is you would do a 0.4, for example, right? On that type of trade, 0.04, and then from there, you're still only risking that 2% of your account, right? So using stuff like this is actually very important. I'm starting to realize this over time, that you want to risk a specific amount as opposed to just throwing it out there, because you want to protect your balance for real, right? So let's just say that you see that there's some level of resistance being formed over here, and price is having a hard time since August 28th, and it's been already 20 days, and it's hard to really pass this area. And mind you, it's hard to pass this area back here as well, rejected really hard, rejected over and over and over. And if anything, this right here is a good area as well, to be able to put that risk, right? So with that being the case, you could be able to say, okay, price is having a really hard time passing this weekly area right here. And if that's the case, I would say that, if price is having a hard time passing this area up here, and then also what we see is a beautiful ascending triangle forming, and that's exactly what we're looking for, based upon these lower time frames. For example, the H4 time frame. We're looking for things like this to show up, and I think this is actually a very, very good time for this specific type of trade. So go from here to here, it literally just passed that time, right? It just passed that time, and at some point in time, it's either going to push up or it's going to push down. So with it pushing up, you can be able to put your risk like right above it, right above that last high, right, which is up here, or you can be able to put it up here, right? Or let's say that you can be able to actually have it push up, then you'll just have your risk just below that area, and that's actually a better risk to reward ratio. Now you just have to make sure that you know where your take profit would be. Now your take profit will probably, if anything, just be at this area right here, just that weekly time frame, being the fact that it's been rejected over and over and over and over and over. So you'd be able to put a buy stop and a sell stop on this, because you never know where it is going to go specifically. You can't say, okay, it's going to go in this area, so I'm just going to hop in. You can't just do that. You have to have a plan, and you have to go based upon where the market is telling you it's going to go, not just from speculation or based upon what's done in the past, right? So for example, let's just say that you were going for that sell. You could probably put a sell stop right there, place it right below that last area right here with your stop loss probably above the area up here, right? Because the thing is, if it passes these wicks, then it's, you know, it's probably heading back up this area, or it may not. So probably a little higher, right? So that kind of large, right? Yeah, that's really, really large. So I wouldn't even say anything like that. But just know that if it passes that area, then it'll probably head back to this last low over here, or even this last low, which is a good amount of pips. So from here to here is 116 pips, and to down here, 342 pips. And then essentially going to where I mentioned it was going to go a while ago, to this 1.2 level, which is probably about 450 pips to this area right here. But that's what I see right here. But right now, price is actually doing something really, really nice, where it's getting to this ascending triangle area, and it's going to break out. It's going to break out up, or it's going to break down. No matter what, it's going to break out somewhere. And if anything, we could probably go to the news. Keep that open. Through what is it, Forex Factory? You probably go to the news and be able to see, okay. And as we can see here, Tuesday, 3:15 a.m. So in the next, what, 6 hours, some news is going to pop up for EU. What a coincidence, right? So I don't know if this is actually going to be something major. Volatility is often experienced during his speeches as traders attempt to decipher interest rate clues. So I think that's pretty interesting. So all this stuff factors in, right? So so that's something to factor in. Just know that by the time, so they said 3:15, right? So by this area right here, and if anything, I don't know, take a picture. In this area right here, you're going to see price or just below, above, or right before or after it. And if anything, just so I remember, price is going to go up or down in that area. And we'll see. All right, AU. So let's look at this daily time frame. So we see major downtrend movement. It was consolidating hard in this area, broke out, retested that area, pushed down, retested again, and then pushed down again. And what we see here is the fact that price is probably going to continue that downtrend movement. So point A, point B, and it's right at 61.8. This is actually like pretty crucial right now. Let's see if there's any news to push it in any direction. Oh, 6 minutes ago. Oh, this is just minutes though. This is nothing major. So let's see if there was any effect news-wise. Nothing. But what we do see is the fact that we do see this bearish movement right here, being the fact that AU has been on this uptrending movement, and right now it's at a clear 61.8 area. I don't know why I have the supply and demand zone, but it lines up with this, which is pretty interesting. Let's take this off because you'll tend to see that certain things just will call your attention, and they don't need to call your attention. They don't matter anymore. So it's always good to clear out your charts from time to time, because you'll start making assumptions that don't matter. That news was on the 18th. Okay, so that was yesterday. Okay, good. Monday. Oh, what's today? Oh, today's Wednesday. Okay, so what's going on today? Y'all lost track of days. Okay, so there's no news. Okay, cool. Tomorrow there's news. GBP. All right, we're not even looking at GBP right now. So there's no news pushing anything anywhere. All right, so I'm just gonna take this off then. All right, AU. Okay. So here, the last supply and demand zone was in this area right here. If anything, you have one right here. This kind of pushes this right here. Nothing too major. Let's look at this H1 time frame. Let's see if there's anything that calls my attention. Yeah, no, nothing. I'm actually going to put this on real quick and see. And what we do see is the fact that now at some point in time, I'll probably, yeah, thank you. At some point in time, I'll probably explain to you what these lines are. It was actually Chris Terry that brought this up to me, but I think it's actually really cool. So just know this has to do with volume and the fact that at this specific price on this specific day, on the 30th of August, most of the volume happened at this specific price right here. So price may push up to this area or may push back down to this area. But if it's pushed back down to this area right here, then I see price continuing to head down. So if anything, you could be able to do something like this, saying, okay, if price passes that area, then I see it probably continuing that downtrending motion. I don't know why it does that stuff. But yeah, so if price continues to push down and it passes this area right here where it shows price likes this area, and if it passes that area, then I see it continuing this downtrending motion. And as you can see here, 150 pips to the downside. So I actually like that one. So, boom, boom. All right. GJ. Let me actually get this right here. All right. And GJ. I don't even want to talk about GJ, honestly. But I don't know, man. Like as you can see here, you know, price did. Let me actually make this as precise as I can be able to make this. So we'll see how this week closes, man. So we see the H4 price engulfs, a very nice engulfing pattern. We do see some sellers exhaustion, but it continues to have this this bearish movement right here. Let's look at the H1 time frame, man. And it's man, I don't even want to talk about this, honestly. All right. You see this bearish action right here. All right, let's see. So if price let's see this. So if price heads back to this area right here, then I don't know, man. I probably see this continuing its downwards push. So this is why, like, I saw this as a downtrend from the beginning, at least. Being the fact that on the monthly time frame, what we see here is the fact that price heads down in very sharp action right here, saying that either the GBP is losing its value or a GJ is gaining value. Right now, from what I've found out is as far as the Japanese dollar, they actually devalue their currency on purpose, so that people buy from their countries, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, this is live. um, oh yeah, that's cool, Flo. So with that being the case, it retraced, right? And it retraced a good amount. It retraced. So from here to here, it didn't get to 38.2. So from point A to point B, it didn't get to 38.2 right here. Let me actually see this real quick. This got to 38.2, which is interesting. Now with this pushing down from point A to point B, getting to 38.2 here, this actually kind of switches up things. And this is one thing that I looked at. I'm like, yo, this is pretty interesting. So from point A to point B now, price gets to 38.2, which is very, very, very freaking interesting. And then now with that being the case, this is actually the last lower high. Price makes a lower low, but then essentially it breaks structure if that is the case. It actually breaks structure right here. And with that being the case, now this is a quote unquote higher high. This is a higher low because this low is higher than that low, making a lower high, right? Now it'll probably make a higher low, expecting for a higher high. So that changes everything. So now, things are just really, really just interesting. So I'm actually going to mark this up with you guys as we're on here because I don't know. Like, that's why you got to be very, very detailed when you really want to be a professional in this game. So lower high, 38.2%. So now this is lower high, 38.2. Essentially, it is, right? And with that being the case, price breaks structure right here. And I didn't even see that until like I really was looking at the small details. And if that's the case, then this essentially broke structure. If that is the case. So point A, point B, point C, 38.2. Point A, point B, point C, 38.2. Point A, point B, point C, breaking structure. Price finds a new high. From there, creates a higher low because this low is higher than that low right there. And then now, as we can see here, point A, point B, point C, creating, so this, let me actually put this right here. So this is a higher high. So new higher high. And then from there, what we see is this area right here. Now, is this important for somebody that's looking to just get in and out and just do a scalp? No, but I'm just not that guy. Higher low. I like to look for swings in the market. That's what I like to do. All right. So higher high, higher low based upon this area right here. And then from there, we have a lower high in between 38.2 and 50%, as you can see here, right? And now, essentially, what we're looking for is a higher low, right? Which is going to be formed, right? And then with that being the case, then finding a new higher high, right? Being the fact that's the definition of an uptrend, okay? So it's going to find a higher low, right? And then from there, find a higher high, okay? So, so yeah, let's just say, for example, price stops here. So from point A to point B. Let's turn on everything. 61.8. Boom, boom. So essentially, if this is the case where price stops here, which is pretty interesting because it's literally at 38.2 right now. At 38.2, which is crazy. Mind you, I'm charting this up with you guys live. It's the first time me like with the speculation. So at first I saw price continuing its downwards push, right? Heading down to this area right here. But then being the fact that price does, from definition at least, break structure right here, finding a new higher high based upon this monthly time frame, finding a new higher low based upon this monthly, finding a lower high based upon this monthly, and then from there, this could probably be its higher low if it stops in this area, but we won't know for another couple months, right? And then from there, with it being literally at 38.2, and what's pretty interesting as well is 50% is dead on, spot on with my monthly time frame, which is really, really interesting, right? I think that's just, just pretty interesting. So that's my speculation based upon the monthly. Now, does that matter right now? Kind of, a little bit, a very, very small bit, right? What we do see as well is the fact that, let's go back to this monthly time frame, and this is actually going to be pretty interesting. So I'm going to actually put this where you can be able to see it on the weekly, right? So let's look at this weekly time frame, and what do we see? So remember this red line right here. If anything, let me bring this over here, and this is really going to kind of put things like in crazy perspective for you. So I'm going to bring this all the way over here so that you can be able to see on the weekly time frame. So look at this real quick. So you see this. So remember, this on the monthly is based upon point A down here, point B over here, right? And then what we see here is price is literally at this 50%, right? You're going to realize that price is literally at this 50% right here, and you're going to see it dead spot on right here. What the hell? Are you guys seeing the same thing I'm seeing? My monthly key level levels out to the freaking T with the 50% area right here. And that levels out to the T with where price literally stops in midair and pushes up. Now, this is where things really, really come into play. Now, trend lines, what they'll do for you is they'll show you the sellers area and the buyers area. Sellers. I don't want to call it sellers area, but sellers area, whatever. So the sellers area, right, on this side, and then the buyer side on this side. That's what trend lines do for you. It shows you the sellers and the buyers. Okay. So the main thing that, mind you, like I was in the buy, I caught the buy up here, caught the sell down here, and being the fact that price was it stopped right here, I was thinking it was going to continue down, and it didn't. It kept on going, kept on going. I'm like, all right, cool, it's going to go to this trend line, and it just kept going. I'm like, what the heck, right? So this is the seller side and the buyer side. So what I would be looking for me per se is if price breaks through, passes and closes past this trend line, and now this trend line was formed based upon this monthly time frame from point A over here and then straight down through this area right here. And you're going to see how on this weekly time frame, you see wick, 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 and then now it's at this area one more time, right? So right now it's at that 50% area, right, which is pretty interesting. And boom, boom, boom. And it's on the weekly time frame, it's making lower lows. So what I would really need for price to do, and I'm going to make this based on the daily. Now, this would be major if price passes this wick up here. If price passes that wick up here, closes past there, it's an uptrend. Now this is a whole new ball game. Whole new ball game if price passes up here. Now I'm looking for major buys based upon the highest time frame. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back on to see where volume has been taking place. And we see the fact that we see volume take place right here. We see volume take place right here. We see volume take place right here. A lot of volume is in this area where price likes this area right here, in this area right here. Price really likes this area right here. Now, I just know right now is a crucial time. This is a very, very strong push to the upside, and it just fails. It couldn't hold it. I'm going to look now on this. And mind you, this trend line right here is all speculative, right? Because my trend line is probably different from your trend line, right? Your trend line is probably different from, the next person's trend line. So the trend lines doesn't really matter. What does matter are levels of support and resistance and these volume areas right here. Where is the volume being carried out over and over and over? So let's look at the H4 time frame. And now understand this volume thing that I have on here. It's literally it was actually formed based upon the 30-minute time frame. So we're going to get down there, which is actually important for right now. And what we just see here as well is the fact that you see this volume area right here. Price shoots up to this area and it starts pushing down. And you can see the same thing right here. Price shoots up to this area and then pushes down. Shoots up to this area and then pushes down, right? And if I was to draw this one out into the future, and let me actually make this a little thinner right here. So for this, we see price price goes from here, shoots out to this area again, and then pushes down, shoots out to this area and then pushes down. So now let's look at this daily time frame. And like I said, I was going to go in heavy detail. You probably have no idea what the hell I'm doing, but if you, I don't know, man, if you want to be like a real trader, and not saying that I am a real trader, like I'm still new in this game, but what I do know is the fact that if you really want to make, a significant amount of money in this, it's going to take more than just buying and selling. It's going to take time being on the charts, time understanding, okay, what is the market telling me? Because it's all playing a picture. Okay, so we see here prices right now at the 78.6 area, and that is a good area. Price wicks up to the 88.6 area as well. And if I was to go to this, and this is beautiful, if I was to go to this 88.6 area right here, we see that price literally stops in midair at that level. We do see as well there is some level of volume that says, you know, price will head to this area right here. 88.6 is right there as well. Now, what does 88.6 mean? A very, very, like the slowest retracement that you can get, close to this 100% area right here. Right. So is this retracement possible right now? I think. Right. What we do see is the fact that there is a bearish engulfing pattern right here, the same type of bearish engulfing pattern that was formed right here that started this down push. Now this down push is actually a very, very large push to the downside, right? 265 pips. Now this one is even greater. So if you lost money based upon this down push, based upon this push to the upside, that's why, like, you got to use a specific risk management where you're not losing your entire account, where when you do get that one trade, that one good trade, it makes up for it and more, but you actually have an account. You actually still have an account, and that's the freaking point. So this push to the downside just to get back to this area is 800 pips, but it's not really like I could be able to say, okay, you know, it's going to do that, honestly. But I guess we'll have to see as this continues. We're going to have to just play it as price continues to move, as opposed to how we were doing it before. All right. I just want to make this trend line as clean as I could be able to make it. Let's see if that does anything better. I don't know, man. All right. So this is what we have now for GJ. We do see engulfing pattern form. You know, we'll see how this moves, and I would just put my risk, you know, just above that area. But you already know how the GJ moves. It may like whip that and blah, blah, blah. So let's see, because this is a risk of 100 pips just on that move. Yo, GJ is crazy. GJ is absolutely nuts. But I do know if you had that sell limit right here, that'd have been beautiful, honestly. All right, so that's just my take on GJ. I just don't have anything specific I can give you now. Based upon this weekly time frame, it's a downtrend. Based upon the monthly, based upon definition, it's an uptrend, which is crazy. Now, what will change things is if price breaks through this last high up here. If price breaks through this last high up here, things change. Now, what's also interesting is the fact that price breaks through this area. And based upon this daily time frame, if I was to put point A and point B right here, and I know it's kind of hard to see, but I do want to keep everything on here. Price does get to 38.2, which considers this the last lower high. And being the fact that price breaks through that in a clean fashion, price definitely breaks through that. Based upon the daily time frame, this is considered now a higher high based upon the daily time frame. Now on the weekly, hasn't broke structure. So if anything, let me write this out for you so you can be able to understand. Like, and you may have an aneurysm with all this thinking, but so on the monthly, it's a uptrend. On the weekly, it's still considered a downtrend. On the daily, it has started, it hasn't confirmed it as of yet, but started uptrend, being the fact that it broke that area. it broke this area right here, considering this a new higher high based upon the daily time frame. So there's a lot of people that'll be like, oh, you know, somebody called out a buy, but this other person called out a sell. Well, what's important to understand is the fact that that person probably called it out based upon one time frame, and another person probably called it out based upon a different time frame. So what we see here is the fact that 38.2 is right here, and price broke structure right here. So the thing is, price may go from point A to point B to point C. So if anything, that would probably be a take profit right here at this area right here, the 146.3, based upon that. If you were on that sell, which is still a very nice push to the downside. All right, because price has to get back to this area right here. Price has to get back to this area right here, but at the least right here. So the amount of pips still is great. In my opinion, if you get 100 pips on a trade, you had a great day. If you get 100 pips on a trade, right? So 120 pips based upon this one move right here. This one intraday trade. Now, the reason why I'll only make it just an intraday is because the thing is, this technically broke structure on the daily time frame. On the H4, obviously uptrend. H1, obviously uptrend, right? Let's look on the 15 minutes to see if it's starting to make lower lows and lower highs. Right now, what we do see is the fact that price, if anything, does break structure based upon this 15-minute time frame. Us to do point A here, point B up here. Price got past 38.2, made a lower high, and then from there breaks that area. But now it has found some level of support right here, right? So if price breaks through this area right here, I see it continuing to this area right here. So you could do something along the lines of this. So price breaks past 147.3. I see price going to 146.3. Go figure. So 147 point. If anything, I'll make it 0.1 to 146.35. Okay. All right. And that's based upon this lower time frame right here. So price has to really pass through these wicks. These wicks are killers, especially with GJ or anything J. These Japs or Japanese, they are very clever. Put it to you like that. So we'll have to just look and see. But after that, the target would be stuff like this negative 27%, 61.8. And this lines up with this last high right here, which is pretty interesting. Boom. What is this? Where is this 100% at? What's this? I'd have to make it probably based on this 30-minute. Yeah, it's just in this consolidation phase right here. So and this negative 61.8 actually lines up with that, sort of. All right, so that's just something that we'd have to like look back at. So let's look at UJ real quick. UJ is just in a level consolidation, which is just, and it's not really consolidation because it is having higher highs and higher lows. But and we do see this push up, which is freaking beautiful, honestly. And the thing is, I had it where, you know, price, where's it at right now? Where's price right now? At 112, 113.1 is where I had my first take profit, which is interesting. All right. Yeah, this is just making higher highs and higher lows. This is honestly a beautiful trend if you were on it. If you caught it for the uptrend, honestly, sheesh. Check this out. Just beautiful. I don't know why it does that stuff. Somebody can explain to me how to change that. I greatly appreciate that. So, yeah, this is just making higher highs and higher lows. Higher highs and higher lows. Which is interesting because the dollar is actually going down, but you know, this is going up. So maybe because this is pulling it. So we'll just have to see what price action does on this one. Let's look at how this is. H4. And as we can see here, price gets to this last area right here. And I'll put it to you like this. It's either price, I'm just going to draw this line out. It's either price is going to head to this area right here, which is actually pretty cool to like kind of know this. So price is either going to head to that area, to this area here, or start its descent down here based upon this area right here, or continue its descent, break structure down to this area. Now, being the fact that it's making higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, it would just make sense to continue that push. And what we do see is the fact that there is some level of indecision in this area. So this is an area to kind of be wary of when price gets to this area, or anything in between here. If price decides to continue its push down. Let's look at this 30-minute time frame. Yeah, if anything, this is actually probably a good time to, it's probably like the lowest point that you can do to get this at. See, price is still holding that level of support, sort of. You can see here. Price is still holding that level of support. And if it continues these pushes up, then I see price heading to this area right here, which is still a good amount of pips. 43 right there. This pushes down. Now this could essentially just keep on pushing up. You know what I realized? It makes absolutely no sense to just go against the trend. It makes absolutely no sense to go against the trend. And go to that high. It's freaking low. Being the fact that there is a level of support. If there's a level of support, then it's like that's just like beautiful how it kind of just like gives it to you. All right. So what you see here, high highs, high lows, high highs, high lows, high highs, high lows. Trend is your friend. High highs, high lows, high highs, high lows. This is the last high over here. This is the last area where it kind of signifies, price may go to this area right here. And price over here kind of has the same thing. Same thing right here. Interesting. And we have this. And we have the same thing here. Huh. All right, we'll see. Now, UCAD. Whoever's still on, you guys are like troopers. Hey, where's all my stuff? Oh, I didn't really have much on UCAD. I was deleting. All right, so let's look from the top. What's UCAD doing? Some ugly stuff. Nothing too clear. All right, so on this monthly, what we see here, price really has a rally down. I need to put my monthly and weekly key levels on this. Haven't. So I'm just showing the last high over here. So point A, point B, we see 78.6. Price continues to push up. And what we do see is the fact that price holds this area right here. Price kind of fakes out, and it's sitting on top of this area. So price just fakes out this area right here. It doesn't close past it. And it continues to push up. So this would be the last low. If price heads back down to this area right here, then that's a problem. And I see a downtrend based on that. Boom. And we're going to change these to the monthly and to the monthly. Boom. So this kind of we could do the same exact thing. Point A, all the way to where they touch. Boom. Okay, boom, boom, boom. So this is a while from now, where this is going to decide where it wants to go. And as we can see here, price is kind of sitting on this area right here, which is interesting. So based upon this, let's see what it is actually done. Yeah, definitely broke structure to the upside. So I wouldn't be surprised this is actually going to shoot up in the future in this area right here. Maybe. I don't know. I have no idea. All right. So weekly. Take all of this stuff off. So this is true right here. Sell zone, buy zone. And I can push this up right here. Yes. But this weekly is pretty. This here as well. And I want to hit as many wicks as I can. As many wicks as I can. Right there. Okay. And this is like art. All right. All right. So that's based on this weekly. Price has a hard time passing this area right here. Go to the daily now. So price is getting back to this 100% area right here, which is actually really, really good. Based upon risk to reward, which is beautiful. This is actually amazing as far as risk to reward. Back to this upside right here, and that potential is just too grand to feel scared about this right here. 20 pip stop loss based upon a 270 pip return. That is just too beautiful. So this is actually pretty interesting, where it's getting back to this 100% level. And mind you, this, like, when it comes to UCAD, it seems like what it'll do is it'll like do it'll go to some level, do so it'll be at some level, and then push, and then go to 100%, and then it'll be at some level, push, and then go back to 100%. So I mean, what do you expect? So push up, go back to 100%. So I don't know, maybe, you know. And if it doesn't, then where's it gonna go? You have to break that level and then push down somewhere. But the risk to reward, like I was talking about, is just too grand for the upside. You know. Let's look at this area right here and see how it's forming. So wicks that trend line right here, not trend line, but this level of support, and I don't know, it may push back up to this area right here, maybe. and your stop loss is just so tight where it's like, you know what, F it. Take profit. 317. Oh. All right. And let's say price breaks through that area, then, you know, where do you expect price to get to? I don't know, maybe this area right here. And that's still beautiful. That's still a beautiful area to be in, because the thing is, it's literally at that 100% area. So if it breaks that area, then you know, you expect price over time, a long time, to head back to this area right here. So let's say just below that, you know, it's a 400 pip move to the downside. So I'm really liking this UCAD move, honestly. Good. I'm actually gonna write this on the board, even though I was kind of feeling a certain way on UCAD. You're going on the board. All right. So if it breaks that, so you, if anything, I'll go ahead and put an alarm on that one. All right. So if price breaks through, let's say 1287, 1287, then I'll have them send me a message. I don't know why it's not letting me do the whole everything on it. But I want to write something. Usually lets me write notes. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, if it breaks that area, then I see price heading to this area right here. But if it maintains that level of support, then I see price continuing, probably bouncing off that area and then heading to this trend line over here. But then essentially probably heading back down to this area right here. I have to see what trend it's on based upon this weekly. It is based upon the uptrend. So being the fact that it has been respecting this trend to the downside, it may keep that, or it may, if anything, you know, continue its upside move. You never know. The market's going to do whatever it does, and you got to follow it as opposed to speculating. You know, this is what it may do. This is what it may do over time. You just got to go based upon these supply and demand zones, and based upon the support and resistance areas. What I mean by supply and demand zone, so like this is the last one right here, and it's literally aligning on that pretty decent right now. So looks pretty clean, wouldn't you agree? Price fails to pass that area based upon the H4 time frame. Yankees kicked butt. It's kind of finding some what do you call it? Some level of what do I call it? Consolidation, and you know, it may start pushing up from there. All right, so that's what I got for that. pretty good upside. So now let's go to Bitcoin. So if there's anybody that has any type of documentaries dealing with Bitcoin or anything dealing with Bitcoin, send it over. I'm on a major hunt when it comes to understanding Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, understanding where it came from, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Right. So I'd love that information. This is what I found pretty interesting though, and I caught some of this. Should have caught a lot of it. Caught some of it, but all right. So where do I see this? There is some level of support that was held right here, right? Some level of resistance right here, and price is going to break out of this at some point in time. That may be relevant, it may not. This is definitely relevant though. So definitely level of support right here, which is beautiful. Now these red lines are based upon this thing right here, based on this volume thing that I have, but based upon the 30-minute time frame, and they're all based upon accounts that happened in the past, all drawn out, all drawn out, all drawn out, right? And if you go to the 30-minute time frame, which is where all of mine are drawn out, which I would definitely suggest you do the same. And if anything, just draw your red lines. All these red lines are based upon these red lines based upon this volume right here. And whether you can be able to get that volume, anybody that actually stuck around, you can be able to actually get this volume based upon, and I'm actually on the wrong thing, BTC, SD, Coinbase. All right. So it's based upon, you go to indicators, and from indicators, you go to volume profile, right? So volume profile, session volume, and then from there, so I put it on twice. From there, you go to this, and you just make it look like mine. I'm not going to stay on this because it's going to take up more time, and it's already been a long time. So you can be able to just watch the review, right? Or watch the when I put it back on. But just make sure it's like this. Number of rows, 24, based upon hours in a day, 24 hours. Up and down, and then the volume is based upon 70% of the volume. That's what that number is right there. And then with the box 30, and then all this other stuff. All right. So I am mad that I didn't catch this entire thing. I'm not even gonna front, and that comes from laziness. So you see a high level consolidation in this area, and that shows with the amount of red lines, right? And what I do see is the fact that, okay, if price passes this area right here, I do see price getting back to this trend line right here. Now, if price breaks through this level of support right here, that's a whole new ballgame, and that's why I've kind of gotten ready for it. I've gotten ready for it. I don't know. Me, I'm an extremist, I think. So I think you should probably get ready for it as well if price does decide to head to the downside. But you never know. So this is where we're at. But if price does decide to break that level of support, I'm ready, and maybe you should be ready as well. What we do see is the fact that price point A, point B, and point C is right around that 38.2 level. Right, it doesn't really hit it, but it's close. which is okay. But I do see price at least getting back to the 6,600 level at the least, before it continues to go down or continues to push up. But I'm almost sure price is going to get to this 69.77 area though. And this is mind you, like I was in that for a while, and then I'll be in profit, and I'll just set my stop loss above my entry, and then it'll hit it. So I make profit, which is cool, but it's just not as much. And then it just kept on doing that over and over and over, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then I just haven't been in the markets in a couple of days, and then it does this big push right here, which is like, ugh. And then this one right here, which is, I caught some of these. And what I mean by some of these is so based upon this red line right here and this red line right here, creating a buy stop or a sell stop in between, just a little under there and a little above there to get the sell, and then it automatically does it. It just gives you that money. And then for the buy, it gives you that money in between each line. Does that make sense? So just do it in between each line. Now, sometimes it gets really, really consolidated. So that's why having separation from this area to this area, price is going to just jump. It didn't do it right there, which is kind of annoying, but just like how it did right here, how it goes from one area, mind you, you see this red line right here, there's a red line right there, right? And that red line was probably based upon something that happened all the way back here, as you can see. So this one right here, so it's based upon this one right here. So this red line right here, price pushed directly to that red line, directly to that, right? So price pushed directly to that red line and directly to this red line. So it literally covered $400 in, it was literally within 45 minutes. It did all that within 45 minutes. So from that red line to that red line, that's a lot of freaking pips in 45 minutes. And you could have caught that whole thing, Philip. So I wouldn't be surprised price will probably push down again. What causes BTC? And that's why I'm doing as much research as I can. It has to be somebody that's a big buyer, or a big seller. I don't know, and that's why I'm on the hunt to research the insides of what money is, the deep roots. Because once you find the deep roots, you understand it, and once you understand what money is, how it moves, why, and I'm talking about countries, not just like people. Why countries do what they do, you'll be able to understand what these currencies are doing, why they have these big moves in the market, and you'll just have the upper hand. Because once you think like the banks, and that's the point, to think like the banks. When you think like the banks, you could be ahead of the banks or act with the banks. So that's my hunt right now. When I go on a hunt, like I go deep. So if anybody would like to join in and be able to actually help out, it's gonna help you too. So I greatly appreciate it. This purple right here is actually based upon the last what was this purple on? Based upon a big push in the market. I know that. Which push? Oh, this one right here. So you see how price finds some level of support right here. And I know it's kind of hard because there's like a whole bunch of crap going on. But you see this price literally sits on top of this area right here. So that push is from up here to down here. So I just made that important or significant. And as you can see here, price is literally at that area right now, and it's consolidated around that area for a while. All right. So I don't know. I just know price is gonna push up to this area right here. I don't know, but I think based upon what I've seen in the past, what may happen in the future, the price passes this area right here, this 6,600 area. I see price getting to the 698 zero area. All right. Hopefully help you out. And if anything, I'll see you guys on the next chart breakdown. I don't think another chart breakdown is going to be for the next this week in the markets, whatever I call it. I don't know if it's ever going to be this long again, but I just haven't been in the markets for the past couple days, and I just wanted to show you what I do when you guys aren't watching, how I come up with all this stuff, and the amount of detail that it takes to really to get this flowing. Now, mind you, that was how many charts that I did? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 charts, right? And it's been, I don't know, an hour and a half. So, how many minutes is that? Let's say 90 minutes. 8 charts, 11 minutes per chart. You know what I'm saying? So when you put things into perspective, like if you're only looking at 1 chart, 2 charts, you can be able to really go in depth in 10 minutes, you know, and really be able to see, okay, what's really going on, and you know, essentially really you know, become a pro in this game. So if you're willing to take those extra 10 minutes, but before those 10 minutes, the days and days and days and days and days of collective effort in studying the charts and seeing how the markets move on specific pairs, not just on anything, I think it will really take you to a whole new level. So hopefully this helped you out. This lasted way longer than usual. If anything, right now in the chat, I want to know who has been on here the entire time. Anybody has been on here for the entire time, I'm going to look at you differently. All right. And I just know that's a good thing, because I'm the guy that stays on the entire time. So go ahead and write in the chat real quick. I want to know who stayed on here the entire time. Go ahead and write that. Mark Watts. So DMTV. Who are you? Who are you, Mark Watts? Yes. Okay. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Mark, honestly. So I already know. I already know you were on here, Alexis. All right, good. Who else? I know we have Kent on here. Who else do we have on here? I'm gonna write your names down. So I know we have Kent. Kent. Alexis. We have Mark. Who else? I see 10. Who else? No problem, Kent. Believe me, like, I like this more than you think. Who else? Who else? Who else? Okay. I see 10 on here, but 3 have written, which is interesting. I don't know if I, you know, some get, it's not scared, but it's, I don't know, it's something. It's okay to be open, believe me. But, all right. So I have 3 people to focus on. But if anything, really appreciate your time, guys. I'm still picking a winner at the end of the month. And this time we'll have shirts. We'll have shirts printed out. And at some point in time, I'll go over my plan. It's literally right here on this the big plan. And believe me, this is, and I really, really want you guys to understand this. If you think that I'm just here to teach people how to trade, that's step one. And if that's step one, and step one is that big, then just imagine 2, 3, 4, 5, and beyond. Right? But it all stems back to giving at the end. All right. So maybe sometime at some point in time, I'll share with you guys my vision. But I'm gonna just protect the vision for now. And see who really wants to be able to actually build something large with me. So really appreciate your time, guys. Continue doing your research on becoming the best that you could be able to be, and helping out the most people that you can. And that's just, I don't know, it's always been my passion. So great appreciate your time, guys, and I'll see you guys soon.